Anizethu maqhawe ase Azanian ukufa kwenu akusoze kulibale kwenu kuyakukhanyisa indlela yabo bonke abaphansi kwengcindezelo Anizethu maqhawe ase Azanian ukufa kwenu akusoze kulibale kwenu kuyakukhanyisa indlela yabo bonke abaphansi kwengcindezelo uzibutha izipamu seyiqonde naso sonke isikhathi ibe isibane sethu maqhawe ngaphandle kwesipamu nawanathula empini phambi kwezinhlamvu zesitsha anizange niphelelwe ithemba lapho khona nathi phambili nenguqulelo ngaphandle kwesipamu nawanathula empini phambi kwezinhlamvu zesitsha anizange niphelelwe ithemba lapho khona nathi phambili nenguqulelo uzibutha izipamu seyiqonde naso sonke isikhathi ibe isibane sethu maqhawe uzibutha izipamu seyiqonde naso sonke isikhathi ibe isibane sethu maqhawe.
Welcome and thank you very much for joining on the Politique once again today. And we apologize for starting a little bit late. The internet these days has got its own troubles and its own ways of doing things. So please accept our apology. Today we are hosting one of an important and wonderful discussions about the struggle in our country. Many of us know it as South Africa, but to the Africans that we are hosting today, they know and understand this country as occupied Azania. So welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us. And we are welcoming those who are watching with us on Twitter, watching on Ponte Politique on Twitter, watching Ponte Politique on Facebook, and also watching Ponte Politique on YouTube channel. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Ponte Politique. It is free of charge. As you have seen and heard with the song that was playing here today, it is a song that is in the tradition of the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania. And today we are hosting the president of the PAC, also a member of parliament in the name of Comrade Mzwanene Nyhontso. Today we will be discussing two of important individuals in the struggle against apartheid and coloniality with the president of the PAC. Thank you very much, President, for joining us, and welcome. Siyabulela Gaba. Enkosi ngokuba ube kunye nathi apha kuPonte Politics. Sicela ubulise ababukeli bakaPonte Politics kuzo zonke indawo.
Greetings to you, Tando, and greetings to your viewership. Thanks for holding us here, Tando.
Yeah, no, siyabulela, Mongameli. As I have said, colleagues, friends, viewers, comrades, and everybody else who is watching with us. March, the March month is one of the important months in the history of liberation struggle in our country. And there has been a group of people who have been, who have seemed to be forgotten in the history of South Africa and the liberation struggle. Now, in my introduction, these are the names that I want to speak about, and I want to, those who are watching, at least they have an understanding of these names before we get into the issue of what we will be discussing today, President. There is a commemoration to you, the viewers at home, those who have not seen nor know about it. In Mamelodi Graveyard, there is a heritage site that was established by the PAC, solely developed by the PAC, and it speaks to the issues relating to the protection of memory. What we are going to be talking about today in our discussion of Lest We Forget the Fallen Azanian Martyrs. Now, in that memorial site, these are the words that are written there. In memory of Poqo executed by the racist minority regime, and to Apla fallen combatants. It starts by saying 1962, Kofimva, K. Pilapi, N. Ngale, M. Mbizo, Z. May, B. Mhlaba, G. Sonamzi. And then it says 1963, Queenstown. It says M. Apleni, N. Mzwanene, B. Ngongolo. And it says 1963, Mbasha. It says P. Kego, M. Kego, T. Swelindao, L. Magigana, B. Magigana, W. Noblila, M. Vulindlela, P. Mpetu, N. Memani, Sadungo Vulindlela, Shilebu Vulindlela, S. Mhlahleni, M. Mzanywa, L. Mthembekwana, N. Gaqa, P. Mili, B. Vulindlela, M. Xhego, N. Kani, M. Mhlabeni, T. Mzanywa, T. Nonyukela. And then it proceeds to say 1963 PAC, F. Jada, L. Matikani, T. Nyovu, J. Sigwagwa, J. Notyane, F. Matikinga. It says 1963 Krugersdorp, R. Matsapaye, J. Mutsumi, T. Mulahlegi, P. Mchoge. And it says 1964 Mthatha, T. Mkoba, B. Mlahleki, D. Galeni. 1965 Pretoria, V. Mahlangu, I. Mashiko, C. Mabaso, C. Chini, J. Libalo, B. Mlojwa. 1966 Langa, N. Ngulwana, T. Twai. 1967 Walanga, V. Qoba, A. Shweni, J. Ngantweni, S. Dodo. 1967 PA, B. Koboka, E. Sekundla, J. Mzondi, H. Gqibile, M. Mgweba, M. Magusha, G. Galeni, L. Fatyela, W. Chobeka, N. Maseti, M. Nduli, L. Zambodla. It says Johannesburg, N. Lupondo. And these are not the names, these are not all the names of the people that we must not forget as the Azanian martyrs, but I was making a point that we read some of the names that must not be forgotten, with specific reference to today's discussion. I'm going to be asking specifically about Comrade Mpinzi no Comrade Sabelo Palmer. President, we are aware that the Department of Military Veterans has joined hands with the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azanian, which you are leading, in making sure that these names are not forgotten. Now, I want you to tell the viewers who are watching this program this afternoon as to what is it that is going to be happening on the 18th and 19th in Bazia and Mthatha. Over to you.
Once more, thank you, Thandolwethu. Well, this coming weekend, on the 18th and 19th in Bazia and Mzwanene, Eastern Cape. In Bazia, we will be visiting the family. Just go to the grave of Subs, salute him and pay homage to the commander of Apla. And with him, we are going to, the grave is not going to be revamped this year, because after the military veterans and Apla in this case, and the Department of Defense informed us about these plans. In my capacity as the Member of Parliament, I've also engaged the Minister of Arts and Culture. Is going to leave an impact. And we don't only want his grave to be revamped, we also want his grave to be declared as a heritage site. And when I met with the minister last week in Pretoria, he suggested to me that he would also want us to take the grave of Subs and be part of the liberation route. Now that must happen. Heritage Council must be involved. South African Heritage Resource Council, that is SARA, who is responsible for declaring the graves, must also be involved. But we will go to his home, to his grave, pay homage, clean the grave, salute the commander of our forces. And the following day, we'll go to Mzwanene and unveil the tombstone of Comrade Mpinzi Zaba, who was known as Themba Ncapayi within the Apla ranks. And this one is going to happen on Saturday, the 18th. We will be there unveiling his tombstone in Mzwanene.
Of course, thank you very much, President, for that. And now this is a good segue that is going to take us into our discussion. And thank you for that. And it's wonderful because what you are raising also, you are talking about the issue that emanated.
Should I continue or wait for you, Thando?
No, just wait a little bit, President. Just wait a little bit. The reason why I wanted you to just first of all give the viewers what is going to be happening. It is helpful and it is beneficial, and I'm grateful that there is this additional information regarding the Ministry of Arts and Culture that is going to speak to that you're speaking to it. Now, President, I am allowing you an opportunity to tell us about these two martyrs that we are
just first of all give the viewer. I'm grateful that there is this that is going to speak to that allowing you an opportunity to tell us about these two.
I'm hearing something on the at the back. I'm hearing myself at the back. I think there's something there that is disturbing the president. And you might have noticed viewers at home that the president was struggling a little bit with the internet connection at times. So let's just allow him a little bit of time to come back, and we'll see how things are going in with regards to that. Let's just give it a little bit of So yeah, the president is back. President, as I was saying, now tell us about who. Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you very well and clear. Now tell us about these two martyrs and in how you understood them. I'm giving you about 15 minutes to do that for both of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Thandolethu. Let me start with Comrade Mbinzi. Comrade Mbinzi is from rural areas of Mzwanene. He is from a place called, and Comrade Mbinzi left the country in 1982 with Comrade Malan Bunje, who is still alive and a retired soldier now, and an active member of PAC branch in Mzwanene. They left the country together in 1982. Remember, it was just after Abo Comrade Toboti and Abo Comrade Mzwanene have also left the country. They were all coming from the same branch. So they left in 1982 to join Apla. And of course, what happened in exile happened. I was talking to his colleagues like Vumantikinga, Polite Kluma, Litlapa Mpatlele, and others. And they all agree and say one thing about Comrade Zaba, that he was the best commissar ever been produced by Apla. So he rose through the ranks of Apla. He ended up becoming the member of High Command of Apla. And in the early 90s, 1990, 91, he was deployed back here in Azania to come and pursue the armed struggle. And remember, at that time, it was when the Apla was at the peak of operations. And at that time, it was when there was a slogan, Paso by day and Apla by night. So some of us had an opportunity to meet with Mbinzi for the first time during those days. And he came in South Africa or in Azania to pursue the armed struggle. I think he was one of the hunted, hated terrorists in and he was buried in his home and far away from, I think some of those who are coming from the rural areas, they know that Dr. Goswell Dala was buried there. And after the new dispensation, we have been trying to talk to the family, the Department of Military Veterans, trying to assist the family, trying to have his tombstone erected there. But at last, the department came on board and the family asked us that he must be exhumed from where he was buried in 1992 and be buried within the family yard, which happened 2 weeks ago. Now his remains are next to his father, who was also a PAC member. His family are PAC members, and the PAC is alive in that area. So that was Mbinzi Zaba, who unfortunately After he arrived in Azanian, it did not take him long before he was confronted by the enemy and died in their hands. And as all Apla commanders, he never surrendered. He never compromised. And like all Apla members who understood, lived, and know very well that there were 15 points of attention, he could not surrender to the enemy. The enemy found him and they killed him, and that's what happened. He's one of our martyrs. He's one of our great members. So unfortunately, he died after he had just arrived in the country. And that was Mbinzi Zaba. Then, when it comes to Comrade Sabs, I think for Comrade Sabs, everybody knows he's from Bazia. And Bazia was and is still the home of the PAC. I mean, the Mpashe massacre, and so many people were hanged from that area. I heard you, Tando, reading their names, Katas, Koni, all those names, most of them are from Bazia, meaning Sabs was radicalized at the age of 12 when Poqo soldiers launched the Mpashe operation. And from there, we're told that Sabs went to school and he was expelled at St. John's College in 1969, meaning Sabs was already aware of the political surroundings. And from there, we're also told that Comrade Sabs was expelled from the University of Fort Hare in 1973, and after that, he skipped the country, went to Lesotho, operated there. He ended up going to Tanzania and joined Apla, and it is after Kokela became the chairman of the PAC that Comrade Sabs was appointed as the Secretary for Defense. I think he replaced Comrade Edwin Makoti. And after Sabs became the commander of Apla, or the Secretary of Defense, so many people swelled the ranks of Apla from all over the country. Remember, Sabs was also part of Operation Curtain Raiser, I think around 1976, where Apla infiltrated trained guerrillas inside the country. Sabs was part of that. He was in Brisky. I'm told he got bailed. He skipped both the bail and the country back to exile, and the rest is history. He declared 1993 as the year of great storm. In fact, I personally met Comrade Sabs in 1993, January or December 1992, I'm not sure, when he visited the same grave that we are going to be unveiling today, the grave of Mbinzi Zaba. He came to Eastern Cape. We were instructed to provide him with security and salute the grave of Mbinzi Zaba. And unfortunately, after Sabs had declared 1993 as the year of great storm, in fact, everybody knew what Apla was doing at that time. And I think white people must thank Mandela and others who decided to come up with this new dispensation. I think Apla was getting momentum. In fact, it was the armed struggle was in 1994. I must say Sabs was killed in 1994 on the eve of the new dispensation of what happened with Josiah Tongogara of Zimbabwe, who also died the same way Sabs died on the eve of Zimbabwe's independence. So that's what happened to Comrade Sabs. He died on the 9th of February, 1994.
I'm noting that the president has just disconnected from the platform, and I'm not sure what seems to be what is the reason there. And again, you would note that the internet has got its own its own ways of operating. So yeah, those that are watching, colleagues, you've just heard about how some of these things and who are these people that we're talking about. And the reason why I had started by reading those names, even though those names are not sufficient, they do not cover everybody. But it is important that when we talk and reflect on things like these, we must always attach the names to the people, so that it makes it easy for people to understand that it's not just people, it's family people, it's children's. I mean, ngabantwana babantu, ngotata babantu, ngotamkhulu babantu, and so on and so forth. And again, you would notice that there has been some comments that were coming through as the president was talking. I got a point of correction here that the DMV does not work with PAC, but it works with Apla. Okay, that's good. Thank you very much, Xola Kyamzashe, for that correction. It comes from the point where I had said in my opening remarks that the PAC and DMV is, so yeah, it's, thank you for that, Nobusa. I'm asking that people continue to submit their comments and make their questions to be part of this. There are some few people who have shown that they are present. I see Sandla Gokwana, they says, Silapa Mungameli, Xola Kyamzashe, marking the register. Sanelisiwe Dilata is saying, Nozinga, my president, we are ready, Siakhabula. Thank you for that, Sanelisiwe. Onkoputenkwe, Atinami, Diko, Nampumalanga, Emalahlin, thank you very much, Onkoputenkwe. Nobahle Hlomendlini is also stating that Simamele Kuwe, Mungameli, and others. Please, while you are listening to the president of the PAC and a member of parliament, I'm asking you so well and so nice that please continue to subscribe to our channel. So we really appreciate your presence in that channel. Connection is a problem we're losing now. Yes, Sandla, there is a problem that we are finding there. So yeah, sorry for that. We're hoping that the president will come back again. And there is also another comment here. It's a Tando Muzia Sipui. I think this one is it's a fun one. It's on a lighter note. Your smile is contagious, my friend. I see myself smiling because when I nezo classes siyabulela for the rich knowledge being dished by the president here. Thank you very much, sir, for that, and it is appreciated. Let me make this submission while we are waiting for the president of the PAC to continue his submission as we were talking. Last week there's been a call around the issue of making history, such information be known in the education curricula. And majority of people raise this question, raise this point, and say that no, the history must be this type of history must be taught in the curricula, and the curricula must improve and therefore, so that the children who are born even post 1994, and also those who don't know the history, especially of the Azanian people, Liberation Army, Apla, and the PAC, and so on and so forth, they must be taught about it in the curricula. There are some things, I agree with that. I agree with that argument. However, I also think that we are putting so much responsibility on the education system. One of the people and the teachers of history once said that those who have oppressed you cannot still liberate you. And those that have been a part of your miseducation cannot also be your educators. I'll stop here and I'll allow the president to continue his thought where he had left off. President, we had lost you there, and people on the comments were complaining about the internet connection. Can you continue and finalize your points? You were around the issue of new dispensation and Sabelo's influence in the year of Great Storm. I'm not sure, President, if you can hear us.
Yes, thank you, Thandolwethu. I'm not sure what's the problem, but there's no load shedding today. But then I was saying subs died on the eve of the new dispensation. And I can, loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, President. Proceed.
So I'm saying he died on the eve of the new dispensation. And his death reminds me of Josiah Magama Tongogara of the ZANU-PF, who died on the eve of Zimbabwean independence. Because I think SAPS inspired so many young people. So yes, SAPS inspired so many young people. Hence, almost everyone went to exile and joined the Apla. I see Comrade Kola correcting a point here. I agree with him. But he's part of those who went to exile, and because they were inspired by the likes of Zabo Comrade SAPS to go and receive military training outside. I think it was SAPS's influence.
Okay.
And the Operation Great Storm, everybody knows about it. In fact, Comrade Thandolwethu, when SAPS visited Zaba's grave, after that he had an extensive interview with SABC. Very extensive interview. And it was broadcast live. And he spoke about this great storm. And we still need to go to SABC and get that clip and get that recording before we are told that it has also disappeared, just like Sobukwe's voice. So we need to get it. And for us as the PAC, Thandolwethu, we must preserve the heritage, the role played by these gallant fighters, these revolutionaries, and for the generations to come.
Okay.
We have a responsibility to tell our own history. We have a responsibility to tell our own kids about the role played by Comrade Palmer, by Comrade Zaba, and many others. We can't rely on the state. We can't wait and go and lament when lament in Parliament that our people are not recognized. We need to recognize our own leaders as PAC and tell people about them. So that's what is going to happen from next week. We are going to teach people and tell everyone. I'm glad the communities will be there. They will know and understand what was Binzi Zaba's role in the struggle. What was General Sabelo Palmer's role in the struggle, and who are in the right course.
Thank you very much, President, for those submissions. Now, this is going to be my last question, and after this, I'm asking those who are our viewers that would like to make comments and that would like to ask questions.
I think I'm waiting
to the president to please make their comments now, so that we can be able to put them through to the president. Considering that, President, this month is the International Women's Month, and I know for sure that in the liberation struggle, whether in Apla, there seems to be this overemphasis of women. I mean, this overemphasis of men as the heroes. What is your view on uplifting also the names of women combatants? Not only women combatants, but also women liberation fighters who were part of this struggle of Poqo, PAC, and so on and so forth. Exactly something that majority of people don't normally talk about. What is your view on the issue of women being uplifted in this telling of history? Again, I've seen that the president has gotten out of the platform. Again, it's the network. So we are sorry for that. Unfortunately, this question that I'm raising is about the women combatants, not only women combatants, but also other women in the liberation struggle, especially in the Africanist liberation struggle. It is an important thing that must be spoken about, and I feel like the president of the PAC, as he is engaging with these stakeholders at various levels, it is important that he must begin to tell us what is his view about those people who are more in the periphery. You've got the names of Mamusbeko, you've got the names of Mamusobukwe, you've got the names of Mamungaza, you've got people who are also still living abroad who were liberation fighters. So the question, President, is while you are talking about these heroes who are men, and in the month of liberation, I mean International Women's Month, what is your view on uplifting those heroines or heroines who have been in the periphery, like Abu Mama, Umgaza, Mamusobukwe, and the others that we don't normally know? How would you respond to a person who asks you that question? Yeah, I'm noticing that again, the issue of the connection there, the president is struggling to see us and struggling to hear us. Can you hear us, President? Okay, he is unable to hear us. And
maybe.
Okay, now it means
audible you can hear to the viewers. Let me try and respond to your question.
Yes, please. We can hear you now.
I mean, Tando, the women, you're right. There's an over-emphasis on the men, as if the struggle was about men. I hope I'm audible now.
Yeah, audible, sir.
Let me respond to your question, Tandoritu. You're right. There's an overemphasis that the struggle was about men, which is not the case. Maybe let me start by Mama Sobukwe herself, who was a leader of student nurses when she was at college. Meaning Mama Sobukwe herself was a politician. She was not an activist because she met with the founding president of the PAC, Robert Magalso Sobukwe. Take Mama Nomvo Boy. the woman, the mother of Apla cadres, who went to exile, who was persecuted inside the country, and kept Apla cadres alive in exile, and everyone call her the mother of Apla cadres. That was Mama Nomvo Boy. Look at Mama Boniswa Ngugana, who died carrying an AK-47 in Klashasnek in Lesotho in 1985. Mama Ebeniam Tupek, and many others. We have women, the young, just the late Nsiki Kungwayo. I mean, those are women were involved in the struggle, in the thick of things. And you're right, we tend to emphasize that the men were responsible. That's not true. Here in Apla, in PAC, we've got women. Mama Mayosi, Tandi Mayosi in Butterworth. She even gave birth in the hands of the enemy. In Butterworth, she's still alive. So those are women who participated in the struggle, and the list is endless. I can name them. I mean, the whole program, I can name them by name, by their names. We know them. They participated. They led us.
Now, thank you for that. Thank you for that, President. Let's go to the comments, because it's going to be a little bit, we're going to be seen as being unfair. So now we're going to play the comments, President, for people who have made their comments. Again, Tola Kyamza says, as we pay tribute to the fallen Azanian martyrs, lest we forget the following heroes who died in Robben Island and lie buried at the Stekland Cemetery outside the Pal Cemetery. Now, these are the names. Ukola is putting them across. He says Jimmy Simon, 1963, Zinwasi Lemvalwana, 64, Mountain Langburn, 64, Sipho Kalipa, 1964, Frank Mani, 1965, Matthias Bach, 1965, Mlungisi Madala Mkalu, 1966, John Pony, and Ruben Maliwa. So, President, he says, we must also not forget that there are those people who are lying there at in the Stekland cemetery outside Paarl. I think that point, he is putting it to you and say, on top of all the burdens that you have, this is another burden that the PAC and Aplamva is supposed to be carrying forward. Any comment on that, President?
And yes, if I can comment, these comrades, these veterans, they were buried in one grave in Stikland here in Belven. Now, Tata Makwetu died complaining about them. When we approached the government of Western Cape, the DA-led government, to say that these martyrs are buried here in Stikland, they said they can't find them because where they were buried now, there's this R300 route to joining N1 to Bloemfontein. So they were buried there. And above all, they are saying because Cape Town has got sand, it means beneath the soil, they are no longer there. They might have moved away with the rains and so on. And Makwetu did not buy that.
While that is also the case, and the president again disconnected, let's go to these different comments that we are putting across here. Maybe they would be part of the discussion as we continue. We appreciate that the president has made that comment regarding those graves there. The collaborative work between the PAC and Aplamva, including the DMV and other state organs in memorializing our leaders and heroes, is greatly appreciated. Atuel Kwangwa, And again, let's look at the other comments. We see also the Mlungisi Dongwe says Izweletu, and okay. And then there's Lungile Billy, Uti, I'm pleading with my president. Let's not have Sharpeville event decorated by Charterist delegation, downplaying PAC role on the 21st March 1960. Thank you for that, Lungile Billy. I think the president of the PAC will be able to get to that and make a comment when he's back. And then again, there's a comment that is made. I think it is in submission to what the president was saying earlier about Comrade Themba Ncapayi, and one of the Apla combatants here says, indeed, Comrade Themba Ncapayi, as correctly indicated by the president, was a political commissar. In fact, he was a camp commissar where our group arrived where our group arrived at Mutupeng Military College. So for those who do not know what is the Mutupeng Military College, it is one of the training camps of Azanian People's Liberation Army, that is Apla, the military wing of the PAC. It was based in Tanzania. So Atwell Kwangwa is confirming that Themba Ncapayi, who is going to be remembered this coming week, was a political commissar, in fact, a camp commissar. And it would be, for those that understand the importance of a commissar in a liberation struggle or even in a political setup, they will understand why that is one of the highest orders. And then there is Sandla Poqo again. He's asking the president to explain or express his view on recognition of our martyrs by the current regime, recognition of our martyrs with the current regime. When the president is back, we will try and have him respond to some of these issues. And I can't see, as we are trying to get to the president is struggling, the connection and his connection is struggling. Let's flight all of these comments so that we don't miss out on time. Aplamva has an upcoming event or a memorial lecture on a date to be announced later this year to honor our women combatants, including the group of 12 who spent 2 years training in Uganda during the Idi Amin regime. Thank you for that, for sending us that response. It is appreciated, and that information. And then we owe it to our fallen heroes to remember them. And even many are in unmarked graves. Yes, you are correct. Probably there are those people who are in those unmarked graves in our country. And you are also right. Let us research and identify them. They must not be forgotten, President. So that is a comment to the president of the PAC. There are other comments that are coming through. We're just going to flight them all so that when the president comes back, we just do some closing remarks. Atwell also is saying that perhaps the PAC has to revive Heroes Day in its calendar so that all these fallen martyrs of a struggle may be celebrated without being seen to be pitying one against the other. That is, the people who are watching in the PAC should also note some of these comments. I think we've played much of the comments that were put on the flight. Yes, I think we've played much of the comments that we put across for now that the president was here. I'm apologizing on behalf of the president of the PAC, the member of parliament, Mzwanene Nyhontso. It seems like the internet is dealing with us precisely today. So we are going to just accept the situation that we find ourselves in. However, there was a thought that I had raised earlier about the relying over the curricula with the kids and the teaching of the curricula being the sole responsibility of the government. I was therefore saying, maybe as much as it is important to have this type of histories, Azanian Martyrs being part of the curricula, it might also be important that we must have what we call the histories from below. When we talk about histories from below, we talk about the history that is being developed by the people. So how the history is being taught, it is not only taught at school. They don't, the school kids don't only meet the history at school, but also the history is also taught at their homes. The history is also taught at their family gatherings. Their history is also, they also are told of their Africanness and their participation in the struggle. So it is important that we must not consider only that the curricula must be filled with these histories, but the history from below. People must develop their own history and tell their own history themselves. President, you have been off and struggling with the internet, and let us take a few minutes. Are you able to hear us now? Are you back?
Yes, I'm back. I can hear you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to flight some questions because they were for you and they needed you to make some comments. One, just to be quick, Sandra Poqo says, can you explain or express your view on the recognition of our martyrs? I'm not sure, because we're talking about Azanian martyrs. I think he's talking about that. Our martyrs by the current regime. What is your view on their recognition by the current regime?
The problem, my view is that we need to recognize our leaders. We need to recognize our martyrs. We need to tell the government that they must assist us because they are not doing us any favor. This is the contribution they've made. In fact, I think I said this in Khoshimamburu when I was acknowledging Tata Poqo, that when I asked him about his views on the state funeral, and he said, maybe until Sobukwe is recognized, we must reject the crumbs. Now, all I'm saying is that we have a responsibility as PAC to recognize our leaders, our martyrs. And also, we have a responsibility to demand from the government, because it's not a favor to give Tata Mlambo. Remember, state funerals are not about money. It's about honor. It's about what they've fought for. It's about what they've struggled for. So we must demand the government to give them the state funeral and the respect they deserve, without, even if they don't come from the ruling party, but they played a more pivotal role than members of the ruling elite. So that's my view, that we have this responsibility and the government must assist us.
Thank you very much for that, President. Let's run through quickly this one as well. Atwell Kwangwa says, perhaps the PAC has to review Heroes Day in its calendar so that all these fallen martyrs of struggle may be celebrated without being seen to be pitying one against the other. He's making that, any comment on that, the revival of Heroes Day?
I agree with him in total. He is right. Remember, let's say, for example, in Tandane, we'll be commemorating Comrade Mbinzi the coming weekend. In Tandane, you still have Nonguba, Lester from Apla, you still have Boniswa Ngugane, you still have Tata Mzotane, you still have Toboti, you still have Macala Hlangen, Usokidash, we still have Twaingana. The list is endless. I agree with Kwangwa that we must really revive and review the Heroes' Day on the 31st of July and celebrate all of them. I agree with it with all my heart.
Thank you for that. Here is another one from Samkelo Mugana as well. Now that you have added with your last sentence ended with Mugana as well. Samkelo is asking, is there a thought about revival of the platform like the Azanian News? Whether it's a monthly or quarterly issue where our history reflected as well. I think he's saying the same thing, but specifically to a publication, something that is written down.
No, he's right. I was talking to Cunningham Lugana when we delivered Sobukwe lecture 2 days ago in Port Elizabeth, that maybe we need to revive, whether it's Azanian News or Africanist, but we need to write about our history, about our struggle, about our heroes, quarterly or monthly. But I agree with
we take this. This would be our last comment, President, from Lungile Pili, and Lungile Pili is saying, "I'm pleading, my President, let's not have Sharpeville event decorated by Charterist delegation downplaying role of the 21st March 1960. Yes, so that is another comment from Billy. Let me take this one. This one is an important one. It says the Africans in Azania must join PAC to restore their selves from the colonialists, so that these heroes and heroines can be honored the right way. President, people have spoken. People have shown interest in the importance of not forgetting these martyrs. Now that we have had this conversation, and now that people have got an idea of what is going to happen this coming weekend in the Eastern Cape regarding the Azanian martyrs, what are your closing remarks from this discussion, and what would you want to say in relation to anything regarding the not forgetting the fallen Azanian martyrs? Give us your concluding remarks.
Firstly, let me say, or let me quote Don Matera, who says memory is a weapon. We really need to memorialize our history. We really need to have people writing about what happened in the struggle. We really need PAC members in particular to write about PAC history. We need ability to recognize the leaders, the heroes of the Azanian struggle. Secondly, we as much as I agree with Billy that we must make sure Sharpeville must be pure. It's a PAC event. Langa is a PAC event. Utatumokwetu used to say, according to Namdwai, no Lusugula 21st, that was around 1990 in Independence Stadium in Umtata. So it is true, it's a PAC day. But we must also be very careful when we chase others away. Charterists may come and try to take our events. We must tell them that it's our event. But when we're doing that, we must be very careful because there are families that are involved. We must be sensitive to families. We must also make it our responsibility to visit the families, the members of the fallen heroes, not on the 21st of March, during the year, so that we don't only meet with them on the 21st of March when they arrive with the government. When we're trying to tell the government that, hey, you are trying to hijack our event, it is very difficult to do that in front of the families because they don't understand, because we never made it our responsibility to teach them and educate them about the event. But my conclusion is that we must preserve our history, and our history can only be best told by our members. Let us not rely on others to do it. Thank you for this platform. Thank you for this forum, Miyako. You are making exactly what I'm saying. You are assisting us in telling our history. Thank you very much, Tanduri.
Siyabulela, President of the PAC, and all the best for the next upcoming week. And may you continue to do the work that you are doing regarding the memorialization and the leading of the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azanian. Siyabulela kakhulu, iponte politik, iti all the best, and thank you very much. To all those that have been watching with us and those that have engaged with us in this particular discussion, you would have picked up that there are other aspects that we need to engage on, other things that we will need to talk about going forward. But what has been an important aspect which we wanted to raise was that there are names that we put into the public, names that are not going to be, somebody would never claim that, no, I don't know now about them, because the internet is going to keep those names that were there. The internet is going to talk about those names that were identified by people like Mzwanene and so on and so forth. So it is a wonderful thing that we put the information in the form. As a historian, a philosopher, and a political commentator, I want to also urge those people who will be engaging on such engagements to understand that when you talk about these stories, when you talk about the fallen martyrs, at some point there are going to be stories that are uncomfortable. Remember, history is not a straight line. History has got its ups and downs. In the process of writing about these martyrs, in the process of memorializing them, you are going to pick up that there are other stories that you might not be happy about. So therefore, it is important to understand that there is no romanticizing of a story. History does not have blank pages. That's what many people normally say. And therefore, when you are engaging on these things, you are going to be finding people who have been what we call in the language of the liberation struggle. You would find the 10 codes. You would find the Askaris. You would find Abatengis. In the process of memorializing your very same Azanian martyrs. So we must understand that history does not have blank pages, and therefore, if you want to tell your children a proper history, those aspects also you must understand that they are going to pop up, they are going to come through, and that you must be ready to be talking about them. So the history should not only be romanticized, but the history must also be spoken about. Therefore, when we remember, we must remember within the confines of facts, truth, and honesty. What we do in this channel, On the Politik, is a platform of honesty, truth, and progress. We always quote and say that truth is not the strategy of politics, but truth must be the habit of everything that we engage in. Now, let us not forget, let us not allow the others to forget. And let you not forget that On the Politik every Sunday, 6 o'clock, requires your participation by making comments, by subscribing, and by taking it and critique where possible, give reviews, and tell us where we can improve and where we can make things a little bit better. To everybody else and everyone who has made the time to be with us this evening, thank you. And umtungwa, umalinge, uyengwayo, unkumbuzo, umtikuni, ndiyabulela, and all the best. Bye-bye. See you next week. Thank you very much.
Anizethu makawe ase Azania ukufa kwenu akusoze kulibale kwenu kuyakukhanyisa indlela yabo bonke abaphansi kwengcindezelo. isibani sethu maqhawe ase-Azania ukufa kwenu akusoze kulibale ukufa kwenu kuyakukhanyisa indlela yabo bonke abaphansi kwengcindezelo uzibutha izipa musiqonde phambi naso sonke isikhathi ibe isibani sethu maqhawe ngaphandle kwesibhamuna wanathula empini phambi kwezinhlamvu zesitha anizange niphelelwe ithemba lapho khona nathi phambili nenguqulelo ngaphandle kwesibhamuna wanathula empini phambi kwezinhlamvu zesitha anizange niphelelwe ithemba lapho khona nathi phambili nenguqulelo uzibutha izipa musiqonde phambi naso sonke isikhathi ibe isibani sethu maqhawe uzibutha izipa